to be getting started here in just a minute. Well, about 30 seconds actually.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks everyone for joining me out today. I'm really excited about showing you MetaStock 18 and its new features. First off, just as point of short introduction on me, I've been at MetaStock as a sales rep here for almost 18 years. I started with version 9, so I've seen MetaStock come a long, long way. I'm really excited about all of the new features. But during the webinar in both YouTube and also GoToWebinar, if there are any questions, let me know. And sometimes, as a fair warning, I do start to speak a little quickly and start moving very fast. So if I do that, then just let me know so I can slow down or repeat what I was talking about. First off, I got to read a short disclaimer and then we can move forward with this. So the demonstration today is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and accompanying software plugins and is not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of their software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. I don't need to read the rest. Basically, that just came from the CFT rule for options trading and things like that and risks. Basically, you trade at your own risk is what we're getting at there. So first off, I wanted to kind of just share with you my contact information. Like I said, I've been a sales rep here for almost 20 years. Love to talk to you if you have any questions about MetaStock 18 or just MetaStock in general. Definitely reach out to me. I'm always happy to help out. Like I said, I've been here for quite a long time, so I'm sure I'd be able to help you out with most of your questions regarding the program and also getting you set up on either an upgrade or good trial for MetaStock. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the new features. So this is something that I've been truly excited about, seeing the designing and also where it started and how far we've come with the charting. So as you can see here, I'm not going to spend a ton of time in the PowerPoint, but I do want to go over what we're going to talk about because there is a lot to talk about. So we have new charting capabilities, charting styles, and indicator updates, drawing tools, and things like that. We're going to talk about what's new with the Power Console, what we changed with the option scope for options traders. You get new risk graphs, put call ratios, top options. Within our Quote Center app, we've added some gainers and losers, more easier to use, and then also some new different trading strategies, and also just kind of like a little tidbit about people that are using our daily charts or end of day version. You just have one single sign on now instead of the dual sign on. So let's go through and just dive into MetaStock. We are going to, let me just go in and pop in the program here. So we'll just maximize this chart. So with the different charting styles, now you've got different types of styles. Obviously, this is just a bar chart here, but now I can double click. Well, actually, let's do this. I think it's better that I do it this way. So we'll open up, let's just do the SPY. And then on the right side here, you can see that you've got, you can apply your template. You can actually select your maximum or just whatever you want to do for like your default. You could do just default, which is 250, or you can come in here and change it to 1250 if you want to load that much. But then you can also choose and request how much you want to display. So I can display 5 years, but I want to load like 3 years, or sorry, 10 years of data if I wanted to do that. So that's some new things in here. Let's go ahead and just open up a chart. And I'm going to apply a clean template so I can show everybody kind of from scratch what we're doing here. Okay. So now if you come in here and you want to change your chart style from bars to candlesticks or whatnot, you can come over here and we'll just choose candlesticks. And now we actually have made it the ability to where you can actually, where they're true candles, whereas in the past, a lot of people wanted to fill in their candles when they're up or down, or they had different ways that they wanted to measure candlesticks. So now you can come down here and choose any color that you want. So let's say I want to fill in when it's going up. We'll do a green, and then we'll do the upfill. We can do like kind of like a teal color, I guess you could say. And then when it's going down, we want to do red. And then we want to do a downfill. We can just do kind of choose whatever we want. We can do like brown, light orange, or whatnot. Let's just do gold, see how that looks. But now also on this, you can measure it based on close to close or open to close. And a lot of the times with candles, that's how people wanted to have them look, from close to close or open to close. You can kind of do whatever you want to do. And then you can fill it when the close is less than the open. You can make them a little bit more thicker. And then what's really nice with this, now that I've kind of changed this the way that I want my candlesticks to be displayed, you can, if you want, you can restore the defaults for this page or to all pages or whatever. And you can also, now that I've made these changes, it'll automatically save this way. So this is kind of how it looks and what I was referring to. So I can fill these in, or I can have them hollow. There's just a ton of little things that you can do with this now. And then if you want to do like candle volume, so you can come over here to candle volume and then measure it when they're up or down. The fill color, the color that you want them to see, or that you want to see, excuse me. And then, so let's do aqua. I kind of like to play around with these different colors. So we'll still do red for the down, but then we'll do down fill. We'll do, let's do dark red. And then again, I can do close to close or open to close, whichever you want to do. And you can always just choose always fill or close when the close is less than the open. Again, and then this is really nice because it measures the candlesticks when, like I said, when it's changing from either when it's up or down, and it's just a lot easier to view the candles. And this is the candle volume, so this is actually quite nice. So you can see when there's more volume on the previous candle or on the next candle, or if it's going down or going up, and how much volume it is. And that's a charting style that a lot of our customers like to look at, especially when we're talking about candles. So it's just a really nice way to display all of the candles on the chart, the true way of candlestick charting. And then, so yeah, that's kind of how it goes with the candlesticks. And then, so now let's go over to EquiVolume, where this is going to show when there is more volume on the previous, or on the current bar than there was on the previous bar. So then again, you can go in and fill these, which is quite nice. So you can do up color and then down color. Oh, I reverse that. So let's do blue, and then we'll do red. And again, you can still do the close to close or open to close, however you want to do that is up to you. And then we'll just click OK. And then you can see how the volume, it's just, again, another way of measuring volume with the EquiVolume. I don't typically look at this type of charting style, but a lot of people like to use that for just kind of measuring the volume, and when there's more volume, when you should be able to trade a lot more, or sorry, when there's a lot more volume, you'll be able to know like where those big moves are. But a lot of people like to use this to measure the volume, and that's kind of the same way with candlesticks. So you can, it just basically what I'm getting at is it's just a different type of charting style, but a lot of people wanted to have that ability to measure these based on close to close or open to close, and then be able to fill in the colors how you want to. Before MetaStock 18, you couldn't do that. And then also, if you notice, now we also have included Heiken-Ashi. as part of the charting style. A lot of customers have been wanting this for quite some time. And you can also see here that you can change the up color, the down color. If you want to do down fill, you can do that as well. And then if you want to change parameters on here, this is basically just changing like the trade price or whatnot, or VWAP. But that actually that brings up a good point, because for those that were in 17, you had to actually right click, choose change chart properties, then go in and decide what you want to display. Whereas now you don't have to do that. You can do it from here if you want to. But in this case, I want to show hikanashi, so we're just going to go in and apply that. And then again, you can go in and change the way you want to view those, if you want them to fill when they're down or up or whatnot. Just making sure I'm doing everything that I need. I've got a couple notes here, so I just want to make sure I'm explaining everything correctly, because there is just so much in here. But this is one that a lot of people really have been wanting, and it was just because the way our graphics container, the charting container was, we didn't have that option. So this is something that a lot of people have been asking for, and that's kind of how we do our upgrades. So people can send in their suggestions to MetaStock, and then our developers go through what we can do and what we can't. Some of the things that just doesn't have that capability, but we were able to include so much in this version, which is really quite nice. So then, sorry, just reading again. Okay, go. Then the other thing too is MetaStock has, or like, let me go through one last part. So then down here under lines, you can go and do like a step line or a filled line or step filled line or dot and histogram. So now I can have the ability to plot it as a histogram. So we're just going to leave, let's do the up color green and down color red. And then we'll click on apply. And you can see now that you've got a histogram view of the actual chart itself. So that's something that a lot of people have been wanting. It's actually a really cool feature. But then also with line, we can go to step line as well. So that just means, you know, when the chart, or sorry, when the prices are going down, it has a line and then comes down here and then it's flat and then goes up. So it's quite nice to actually look at the chart this way. A lot of people have been asking about this. So it's just a different way of viewing the price bars. Instead of bars or candles, you can see the step line and they look when it's down or up from the day. So that's something that's really nice. We could do filled line if you want, and you can default what you want to do. So we'll just do, let's do up fill blue, and we'll do down fill, let's do violet. Just kind of mess around with it. And then let's make it a little bit thicker so everybody could see. And just want to check chat really quick, make sure nobody's asking me any questions. Okay. So then we'll click on OK. And now you can see that you've got the filled line, and you can kind of measure it based on that. This is still your chart price right here. You can also just hover it over the filled area, and it will show you the data for the open, high, low, close volume, etc. So there's that. And then we can do dot as well. And so we'll click apply, and we'll click OK. Now you can see when the prices are red, obviously that's when they're down. Let's actually do this. I want to make the line, the dots a little bit larger or thicker, sorry. Okay, so now you can see it a little better. We can just kind of help you see like the overall trend. It's basically just looking at a line chart, but instead of a line, you're doing dots. So it's just another way of looking at different chart pricing styles. A lot of people wanted this option as well. So everybody kind of had their own way of viewing things, and this was a big request from a lot of our customers. So that's our different charting styles inside of MetaStock 16 or MetaStock 18, excuse me. I just want to make sure that I did cover everything. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to change this back to my type of charting style, which is candlesticks. And you notice now that I actually changed those the candlesticks to the filled line and the downfill colors, it kept those settings that way. So I don't have to go back and redo all of my colors. It just made that as the default. So anytime I want to look at a candle chart, it'll open up the way that I want it to. So we'll just do that. And then the other thing too, inside of MetaStock, we added 16 new themes, color themes. So if we come down here on the right side, chart theme. Right now it's on bright white, but I could do black steel if I want to. And the other thing too that MetaStock does now is it will change the color of the bars and also your indicators. It's like a smart way of it applying it, so you don't have to go and manually change it. A lot of the times, if you had like a black background and you plotted an indicator and it was also black, then you'd have to delete it from the chart manually and then reapply it with a different color. But now, let's see. Okay, so now if I want to do it, I can do insert indicator, and then I can just, let's just do like moving average. Okay, so then we'll click on moving average, and then we can just put it in either inner window, but MetaStock will actually know where to plot it, but I'll just say inner window. And then we'll click on OK. And in the past, you had to go in here and adjust the scaling, where this window would open up and ask you where you wanted to scale it. But now MetaStock basically knows how to calculate that, and if you needed to merge the scale or scale on right or left or whatnot. But that's actually something that's really nice within the program. And the indicator values are automatically displayed, whereas they weren't before. So if I stuck this in its own window like this, it would automatically display the indicator in its own window like that. So let's go ahead and put it back down. Okay. So there's that. And then the other thing too, I'm going to plot oh, sorry. Let me actually go through the different themes as well, kind of getting sidetracked. But then you've got bright spark, which is what I had. Got a Chrome view, and change it to contrast, or have that one. And you're noticing here probably that my candlestick colors have changed as well. Then you have, this is the one that I actually like the most, the dark mode, which is what I had on, and then also this electric mode too. So and then yeah, just basically like I said, you've got 16 different ones. I'll just run through the rest of them so everybody can see what they look like. And then you got expression light, and then gray dark and gray radiant. I'll have to open all of them, but let's keep it at that one. So lots of different themes in there. We call them themes now instead of just colors. And then I'm just making sure that I'm doing this right. Okay, so there is one thing that I wanted to also touch on, is with the whole field thing of indicators. Hang on just one second. Okay, somebody moved the tab so I couldn't see it. All right, so now let's do just a regular MACD. Or sorry, I want to do Bollinger Bands, not MACD. Okay, so now let's drag and drop this in its own window. And over here on color style, I can change the color. It's already defaulted to red, but let's say I want to change it to, we'll do a blue. But then what I can also do is I can fill in the space between the upper band and the middle band. So I can come over here and say, okay, I want to fill it green. And then you can change the weight and style and everything like that. We'll just leave it right here. And then you can also tell MetaStock to display it or make it invisible. So right here, you can just uncheck the visible line. Some people want to only look at, maybe they want to just look at the two bottom bands or the two top, or whatever you want to look for, or look how you want to display it. And then come down here, I'll just do color red. And then same thing here, you can fill in the line if you want to as well. Let's do, now I want to do a different color. Let's do blue. Okay, so now we'll just go in and click OK. Oh, and then one other thing too is when you make these changes to any of the indicators, if you click this down arrow by default, you can save all of the pages this way. So if you have a custom template that you've created, in this case, now any new chart that I open up is going to open, or sorry, whenever I apply the Bollinger Band, it's going to open with these settings. And then if I want to save a default template, it'll save it with my current settings as well. So we'll just keep I'm just going to keep it at save page, or sorry, I can't talk today. Save all pages as a default. So just click OK, and now you can see that you can fill in, or the different lines are filled in. I kind of made this a little bit dark, but you get the idea. So that was something that was actually really cool. Now that we can do that, you can go in and just change it however you want. You can go over, let me actually go over here. I have that a little bit dark, more dark than I wanted. Okay, anyway, you can't get the idea. So that part's really nice as far as that goes. Because it is kind of big on there, I'm gonna take it off. And yeah, okay. So the other thing too, like I said, I don't want to get sidetracked because there is a lot to cover. Oh, okay. So one nice thing with the new version of MetaStock is if you notice down here, you can see the overall trend of this particular stock of the SPY that I'm looking at. And if I want to go to that specific location, I can just click anywhere on the scroll bar. But you can still use it the same way you had it before. You can just scroll over now. Or if you want to zoom in very quickly, you can just go and do that instead of clicking the plus or minus. So that part's actually really nice. And the other thing too with the display inside of MetaStock is right now in MetaStock 17, you can go and customize your charts, but you really don't know what time frame you're on unless you have your chart customized to show you the time frame at the top right. Now within MetaStock, you can see that there's been different types of changes in there. The last 4 charts that we had that somebody actually did was a 75-minute, a 22-minute, and a 15. So instead of just an I now, you can go in and edit it however you want. So let's just do the 15. But now it says intraday minute 15. So now I can just go and choose that one each time that I make a custom chart. So just as an example, let's go and do custom. Instead of 15, let's do 23 minutes. And then just click OK. And now inside there, it shows 23 minutes. So I can just use that going forward. That part is actually really nice. And you can also come over here. And if you do, I mean, daily, weekly, and monthly are all displayed the same. But you can, the intraday part is actually quite nice. So this one you have a 1 hour, or sorry, intraday hour 4. So that means a 4-hour chart. That display part was something that a lot of customers were wanting, especially the ability to save their own custom time frame and then be able to just click it from here. It looks like it only saves your last 4 that you've made. So just keep that in mind as well. But that's something that is actually really nice. And then just want to make sure I'm doing. Oh, so you can see on the preview of the chart, you can see all the data that you're looking at or that's available. If you come over here and double click on the x-axis, you can actually maximize that and it'll show you all the data that you've got available down here on the scroll bar. So that part's actually really nice. And I'll come back to the x-axis and the y-axis. We've actually had a lot of changes to that as well. So I showed you just a tiny bit on the different indicators that you can do, like the Bollinger Bands, but I want to show another one as well. You can do like the MACD histogram, and then we'll just drag and drop it on the chart. So now we can do the fill line, and I'll make this a little bit less thick so it doesn't cover my entire chart. So I want to actually do, oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, okay. So anyway, we'll just come down over here and you can change this from histogram if you want to step line or filled line. Then you can just keep this one the same. We'll just keep that one the same too. So now if we go in and plot the chart, you can see that it's actually got a filled line in there. And you can come back and change it. But now when I plot this indicator on the chart, it's always going to plot it like this. So actually, I want to make that just a tiny bit darker. And this also allows you to change all of the different moving averages as well as the signal line too. You still, for those of you that have that other MACD that allows you to change the parameters of the moving averages, that work the same way. But you notice when I plot it, I didn't have to select the inner window. It just automatically knew that I would be better, or the view of the MACD would be in the bottom chart, inner window, excuse me. So then there's that, which is really nice. Oh, and then the other thing, if you notice, in the past you had to show the values of the indicator, so in this case the MACD, or you had to go in and unhide the title bars, and then you had to apply it to all of your charts. You don't have to do that anymore. They just automatically display. I already talked about the fill lines, and then okay, and then the other thing that's nice too that a lot of people have been asking for, if I come back over here, oh, I think I already talked about how you can hide your and make them invisible or visible. Just making sure that I'm covering everything. Oh, okay. So one other thing that a lot of people liked in the past, we had to do a custom formula for this. So now it's already in the software. So when volume is up, it's red. When volume is up, it's green. When it's red, it's down. So we can just plot it, but it'll automatically stick it in its own window. We'll just click OK. So now it's automatically put that in its own window here. So when you're noticing here on the values, or sorry, on the bars for volume, when it's down for the day, it's red. When it's up, it's green. And you can also hover over it still and see how much volume was in there as well. And then, so there's one other thing. Oh, let me actually apply a clean chart really quick. Okay, so now within MetaStock, this is something that a lot of people wanted inside the software, is the Ichimoku now is extended by the true 26 periods. So just again, drag and drop it. I'm not going to make any changes here under the color lines or anything. If you want to make changes on them, you can. I'll just go ahead and click OK. And as you notice, trying to remember, the Cinco span A and B are now plotted into the future, which, like I said, a true Ichimoku is plotted 26 periods into the future to have that extra cloud. It's just something that a lot of people have been requesting. It's something that's actually really nice. And if you want to go into the properties window, you can, if you want to. A lot of people want to like to do this, is you can add horizontal lines and values for them and things like that. But yeah, so that part's actually really nice. And the other thing too, sometimes you just want to see the cloud. So if I want to uncheck the visible and only want to do the Cinco span indicator, just the cloud, then I can do that too. So kind of whatever you want to do. In the past, you couldn't do that. It didn't extend out 26 periods into the future. So yeah, let me come back to my PowerPoint, because I've kind of talked about a lot of things here, and I just want to make sure we're on the right topic. So I already talked about how we have different themes in here, the scroll preview, the zoom in areas of the chart, the move back and forth with the scroll bar, and then your different plotting options, line stepped. You got definitely a lot of new customization here. Your auto drop and automatically plots the values of the indicator, built-in up-down volume. Oh, and it also has, let me go back and apply that. Has two different calculation methods that are built in there as well. In the up-down line, where before you couldn't actually change those, but now you can, it just automatically does its calculations for you. Again, you can make them visible, or you can go to zero-based if you want to change this based on the close or based on the volume. So you can do either one. When the volume's high, it's going to be green, or sorry, when the volume is up, it's going to be green. When it's down, it's going to be red. Or I can base it on the close, whichever way you want to do it. Whereas before, I think it was all just based on the close. So there's that part. And then if you write any custom formulas, what's called the P variable will display the indicator values automatically. So if you're writing any custom indicator using the P variable inside of MetaStock, will now just display those values of the indicators automatically. You don't need to make any changes as far as that goes. Okay, so this part is something that's really exciting. I'm going to have to go just a little bit slow in this area because I want to make sure that I touch on everything. So with trend lines currently, you have the ability, kind of a big thing that a lot of people wanted to do was I want to have the option to either snap it to price or snap it to periods. And then you also, a lot of people wanted to see like the performance or the percentage change from one point to another, kind of like a ruler basically. So let's go back over here to this chart. I'm going to take off everything so I can make sure. Okay, and then we'll just close this inner window. So within MetaStock now, so if I grab a trend line, and let's say I want to do it from that point to this point, and let's go with this one. Oops. And I want to come up, now I want to change the properties. So I can come in here now and I can actually show a left and right arrow. A lot of people wanted that. You can just show, the label on the trend line, the performance from one point to another. So let me just show that. Oh, and then over here, here's the snap mode. You can snap it to period or you can snap it to price. I'll just go ahead and click OK. So now I can see from one point to another point, there was a 95% drop from this point to that. Or if I want to show based on performance points and number of bars that it's doing that, or from one point to another, click apply, I'll click OK, and it shows there's 45 point difference from one point to another, and it was based off of 20 periods. So that's something that is actually really nice. Most of the time, people are just using the percent change because that's really what they want to see. You can also add the periods in there if you want to, but that's something that's really nice. And as I was mentioning earlier, now that I have done that and I want this to be applied to each chart, all I do is come down here and save current page as default and click OK. So now anytime I draw another trend line, it should save the way I want it to. And as you can see there, now it's automatically displaying the percent change and how many periods, and it's already got the left and right arrow. So that's something that's actually really cool. Just want to make sure I touch on all of that with the trend line. So you can add arrows showing the performance, count the number of bars, save it as your default setting. So anytime you plot a trend line, it'll automatically save that way. And then also over here, if you want to change the parameters from the start date to the end date, you can change those as well. Yeah, so that's something that's really cool. Then the other thing, right now, I already talked about how it snaps to price and everything like that. You can change the colors per line and save them that way. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to show with the drawing tools is now inside of MetaStock, you have, let me take these off really quick. Oops. Okay. All right. So one big thing that a lot of people wanted to do, actually I have quite a few customers that upgraded because of this option. Inside, trying to find where it is. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to plot a Fibonacci on here. We'll just go from one point to another. And as like I did with the other, you can see like the percentages and the starting price, ending price, etc. But let's say you want to add a new line in here. So if you come over to color style, now I can come over here and change the defaults of these individual lines. Let's say I want to have this one red, this one green, or yeah, there you go. And then this one, I want to do it magenta, so on and so forth. But I can also come over here and add a value as well. I'm not a Fibonacci person, but I'm just going to do 55% value and then do add. And now it's one that I can actually edit and change. So like I said, I'm not a Fibonacci person, but you can just do kind of however you want. If you want to add more percentages, you definitely can. Now, the thing that's really cool, let's just kind of mess around with these colors. We'll just leave the rest that way. Now what's really cool is anytime I want to replot this, as long as I come over here and do save current page as default, I click OK. Anytime I plot the Fibonacci, it's going to plot this way. So now you don't have to come back every time and change the defaults. Oh, I think I did it wrong because, yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. I had it on this page and I meant to have it on this page, so I didn't click the right page, just save defaults. Just hurry and choose different ones so I can show you what I mean. And just add a value. Okay, so I need to come back here because I did it again. Come down here, save current page default, then click OK. All right, so let's try this again, see if that worked. Oops. Yep, so now save my colors, and the line that I added, it added that in there for me. So that was a big thing that a lot of people wanted to do. Now we don't have to come back each time and change it. Also, the other thing too, if you're changing charts, then it'll remember the settings for the next chart as well. That part was something that's quite nice as well. And also, here's another thing that was really nice. That's really nice with MetaStock 18. A lot of times people will want to write different notes in here. Right now, we could, let's say we did buy, and then come over here again, do maybe sold here. You know, just kind of whatever. Before, you had to right click on the word and then go into properties, and you can still do the same thing, but now you can just double click and say, well, I want the font to be 30, and I want to do a different font, and I want to bold it, and I want to do, you can frame fill the color, you can change the color if you want to, so we'll just click OK, and again, we'll do save as the default. So now I've got that. I'll do the same thing here. And then you only have to do that customization once, and then each time that I plot those, then it'll show it that way. So that part was something that's actually really nice, especially if you're a guy that likes to make a bunch of notes on your charts. Just want to make sure I'm covering everything here. Okay, so I already talked about the Fibonacci and saving those, the color changes per line, and you can save those. One drawing tool that I never used in the software, but this was something that a lot of people wanted to do, and this is only inside of MetaStock. It was called the Don Fishback Odds Probability Cone. And we actually did quite a lot of work. Let me take these off so we're not in the middle. So we did quite a bit of work programming with Don Fishback, and he actually shows this on his site and during his training and trading classes, kind of mentoring basically. But this wasn't something that MetaStock could do in the past. Now, if you want to come over and use it, it's like, again, it's just called the probability cone. I don't use this per se, but a lot of people do use this for like measuring breakouts and different things like that. You can hover your mouse over it, your mouse over it, and it shows you like the volatility and things like that. But I can also come over here and change the color style if I want to fill that in or not fill it in. You can change the different percentage of the probability indicators. You can use specific percentage if you want to. You can change your periods. You can do any of this inside of MetaStock 17. So that's something that's actually really nice. And this is specific to MetaStock 18 and also MetaStock in general. So if you ever are an options trader or you follow Don Fishback and you've read his books and things like that, this is something that's a great tool inside of MetaStock. And we did a ton of work with Don Fishback to get this into the MetaStock program as a drawing tool. So then let's go in. So here's another thing that a lot of people wanted inside of MetaStock. I'm actually going to change this theme because it still just looks like the same chart. So change this to candles, and then we'll do close to close. Should be using this anyway. Color. Okay. All right. Okay, so now with the crosshairs, come over here. This is something that a lot of people wanted to do or wanted. Let me try to remember how I do this. Okay, so now if you're seeing on the chart down here, you can see on the x-axis, it highlights the date, and then on the right side or on the y-axis, it highlights the price. So if I come over and change the time frame to just a daily, I can see that as well inside here. So whenever the crosshairs, whenever you're using the crosshairs, it shows you the date and then also the price on the right side. That was something that a lot of people wanted in here. Another thing that's really cool with MetaStock 18 is Andrew Pitchfork's indicator is actually its true calculation. So let me take this off. And it's based on 2 calculations. And let me just plot this on here so I can show you what I mean by that. let's do, okay. So this line is considered the control line. If you go into properties, you can decide what you want to do as far as like the snap mode, the rendering type, standard, the shift, or modified shift. I don't use his indicator, but a lot of people wanted this to be basically a true Andrews pitchfork. So if I changed it to shift, then you can see how it moves in conjunction to the way you want to program, or the way you want it calculated. A lot of people just do standard, but you have the ability to go in and change the individual colors where you couldn't do that before. You can make them thicker or lighter as well. So that was something that's actually really nice inside of MetaStock. Especially you can do like the warning lines if you want to do that. You can add custom lines in there too. Just a lot of neat things that you can do now with all of the different drawing tools inside of MetaStock. So then, yeah, so just click OK. So anyway, yeah, those are basically covering all of our drawing tools that are inside of MetaStock. Coming down, just going to make sure, let's come back to our PowerPoint, make sure that I've got everything right. Okay, and this is where I want to talk about the X and Y axis. So now you have the ability to toggle the truncate prices, labels on and off. You can change the display of units and symbols to find value, or view in fractions or decimals. So what that means is, if you come over here, you can show symbol definition, or basically just symbol name, and then, or you can do integer, you could do 1 decimal. A lot of futures traders want to do like percentage, or sorry, like fractions, so you can do all that inside. Maybe you want to do like a 1/8 price. So then it'll show you on the right side over here the actual price in 8 units as well. And then you can invert scale from here. You've been able to do that before, or you can manually scale it too, and you can just choose what you want to do, minimum and maximum. I'm just going to do auto. Most of the time people will use that. And you can change it to manual units or auto units, however you want to do. But one other thing that I missed on showing you this is now in the X and Y axis, you can show major grid lines. You could show minor grid lines. And also one thing we added is you can show grid line bands. So if we click OK, this chart's dark, obviously, so you can't really tell. I'm going to change that back to white. So now you can see that. So these are your, right now I've got the grid bands and the major grid lines selected. And I can do the minor ones as well, and you'll see that those will appear. Did I do that right? Yeah, so it'll show it when it happens, but in this case it hasn't shown, it's not showing any of the minor grid lines, but a lot of people will use that as well. The grid bands is something that's quite nice. I like that part a lot, but yeah, so that part is really nice, the Y and the X axis. Let's come back over here to the X axis, or sorry, let's come to the X axis. And now inside of here, I touched on this just a tiny bit in opening a chart, but now you can decide with the display range and the number of records you want to load. You could do this before, but it was a lot more cumbersome to change. If I want to say display 200 periods, so it's almost 2 years with daily data, but I want to load my max amount to be, so my indicators show the right calculations and things like that. And then I could also choose just the date range if I want to. You can do that with both on the request and also display. Then over here also you can show the grid lines or the grid bands. You can just click on the show grid lines. And then if you want to go back to defaults, you can do that for all pages or just do it for this page kind of thing. So then each time you open up that same chart, it'll keep it that same way for all those settings. Now it's showing like all the grid lines on here. So that's something that's really nice, especially with the loading of the time frames and time periods and things like that. So just really some nice features within the both X and the Y axis and inside MetaStock, making the charts looking a lot more crisp and clear, and just really a lot more user friendly as well. So I talked about Andrews pitchfork, where you have different types of rendering, the X axis as well. Okay, so I did touch on this a little bit. Now within MetaStock, if you change your time frame, and this goes for both our daily charts users and in real time, because sometimes maybe you want to do like a 5-day chart or 2-week chart or whatever you want to do. That'll save it down here so you can just quickly come back and open the chart with that specific time frame. And then, sorry, I just got to look at my notes and make sure I'm touching on everything. Yeah, I talked about the ease of identification of the new time frames where you have, you know, the D for daily or whatever, but now you've got like the 23-minute IM 23. The changing of tile settings as charts load. So as what that means, let's open up a couple different charts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I want my charts to be side by side. So as I'm opening them up, I don't have to reorganize them. Let's do USO and then open chart. So if I had the tile view selected, I apologize, then it would just automatically put it in there where it thinks it's going to be best fit. That way I don't have to worry about like reorganizing it each time. Kind of like that, as you see. So that works really well for organizing your charts and different things like that. And then you can display it however you want. Seen before, when I close a chart like that, it would leave a blank space right there, but now it just automatically fills it in with the charts that are opened. Trying to remember how I do this. So you can actually show inactive time. So what that means is you can show the inactivity gaps if you want to. I'm not 100% sure where I do that, but if I okay, here you go. So display inactivity gaps, you can do that now. So then as you saw on this chart right here, when there's inactivity gaps, it displays those. But if you want to not display those, right click chart window properties, trading sessions, and then click OK. Oops, I did it wrong. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that's something that you can do inside the program now with the chart, allowing it to show the inactivity gaps. And and then actually you need to ask Bobby. Bobby, how do I change the time zone options in the chart? Oh, right here. Right here, I found it. Okay, so then you just go to chart window properties and then you can change it to whatever time zone you want. Maybe you want to change it to, let's say you're in Australia and you want to change it to show your local time zone instead of the like New York Stock Exchange time zone. So you can change it to whatever you want. And it's done for every country. You see the big, huge list that you want. Maybe you want to change the chart time to Tokyo time. And now to change it to their local time zone. So you can do that right here, or you can just leave it at the local true time of the chart. So that was something that a lot of people wanted to do. Before, you had to go in and change the computer setting to your local zone and then change your actual like time and zone inside Windows, and it was kind of a real pain in the rear. But now it's just done directly from the chart, so it makes things just a lot easier to do. Okay, so now we're into the Power Console update. This is something that I actually really like. So you've got my short-term name and symbol. You have the ability to organize the symbol lists or the list by symbol or name. But now, if you come over here in Power Console, you see this little search option. So you can change it back to symbol. And let's say I just want to look for the list that has Apple. Now it's only going to show me all of the lists that have Apple in it. So if I open up this is the one that has Apple in it. And that way I don't have to go through the entire area of the entire Power Console finding Apple, or maybe it's a symbol that you don't know, but you just want to find it and then click the box and open the chart. You still always have the ability to just come up here and type in a symbol, but this is actually really nice to do directly from the Power Console instead of coming over here into Instant Search and then doing it. So now you can just do it here, and then it shows you like where Apple is located on these lists. So it's going to be in different lists just because Apple trades not just in the US, it trades outside the US as well. But it'll show you all of the different areas where you've got Apple in your list. And if you've got custom lists, that works the same way for local lists. You saw right here where we have the S&P 500 as one of my local lists. Apple's listed in there as well. So that's something really nice, but you can still go in and just use the search symbol option as well if you want to do that. And then the other thing too that is nice, if you notice that, then you can also come, this part actually I really like, you can go over here as well inside of all explorations, because sometimes if customers have a bunch of explorations they've created, or maybe they've purchased a few of our add-ons and their list of explorations is huge. So now if I want to just do a search for the MACD, it has that right there. Anything related to MACD, it found it, and I can just click it and move on. Or if I want to use, let's say the Turtle Trader. Now I've got the Turtle Trader right here as well. I just check it and then open that exploration, and it's just a lot easier to use. This part actually I really like. And then the same thing goes for the system test. If I want to just do a system test on MACD, it'll find everything, or we can do one that I actually really like is called the momentum indicators. And then I could do the Chandy momentum oscillator as well, or I could just do the momentum indicators expert, and then I can run my back test. Same thing with the forecaster. If you want to look for different symbols or lists or whatnot, that's all updated and changed now. So that's something that's actually really nice. Yeah, okay. So, and then you also have the ability to load your, sorry, I'm just reading through my notes to make sure I'm covering everything in here. Yeah, so those are things that we changed inside of the Power Console. It's quite really nice that you can search through all of your lists automatically for different symbols that you want and the area where those are. So you can just open up that particular list and open it. It just makes your life a lot easier to look for different symbols. That's always been something that's been a challenge with MetaStock, where either you don't know the symbol or you're not putting the right extension on there, because in the case of Apple, Apple trades on different exchanges like the NASDAQ. It also trades in Singapore and trades all over Europe on the London exchange as well. But not everybody wants to see that. And so now you can just go in and do a search and it'll show the one that you want. And that also brings up another good point. Inside of MetaStock, you have the ability to edit your Power Console to only show you what you want to see. So let's say you're just a US equity trader. You only want the New York NASDAQ Amex. Maybe you want to add also the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ constituents as well. But then when you do a symbol search, it's only going to show you the list that has Apple on it or IBM or Google, whatever you want to go off of. Okay, so that's the changes that we made inside the Power Console. And then with Quote Center, we added the ability to see like the percent gainers and losers for the day. So this is, looks like this is the last list that we used. So I'm just going to open up the exact same one. So I've got all the symbols over here. And for those that don't use Quote Center, I would highly encourage using this. This is a great way to monitor your portfolios. Or if you just kind of want to see at a quick glance, open, high, low, close volume, and then kind of sort them that way as well. So we'll go ahead and click on Open Quote Center, which is 98 different symbols. And if you are in, let's go ahead and close that. You can come over here and actually filter it the way you want. And if you want to do like symbol, or if you want to do just like percent change and you want to take that off, you can check off the bid if you want to uncheck that. We've just got everything on here. You can add like the date and time. Okay. So then if you want to restore it back to default, then you just click on that. But now you can see up here the percent gainers and the percent of losers. So on this particular list, I've got 92 gainers, or 94%, and losers I've got 5, so 5%. And you can also, like I said, you can edit this and sort them by percent gainers and losers. So if you wanted to do that, you can definitely make that change as well. It automatically just saves it as the percent gainers and losers, but however you want to sort these, you can definitely do that. And inside here now, you can change the different themes, and what it'll do is it matches up with option scope. Oops, let's go back to that. I actually like that view a lot. Just 1 second, I want to make sure. Oh, and then it just automatically will also do the same thing for option scope. So let's just minimize this, go over to option scope. type in, let's do the SPY. I'm just going to leave this as how it is right now. I just kind of want to show you how you can use that and see it. As you can see, everything automatically changed to the correct color, the same way I had it inside of the quote center. So that part's really nice that a lot of people wanted to have that ability. And you don't have to go in and keep changing it because now it says the default and I don't have to worry about changing it each time. Obviously, it's not really that big of a deal to change it, but it just makes your life easier and a lot faster. Like I already touched on, you can change your different columns in the quote center, what you want to display and what you don't want to display. Just making sure, going through everything. Oh, okay. Oh, and then if you open up from this, or sorry, from the quote center, it'll automatically apply your default template or your smart chart. If you were using a specific template, then you can open up the chart inside of MetaStock and it'll save as your default template. So the default that I have on this computer, since this is our webinar room, so it's got a different default than mine, it opened up with this current default template, the daily, and then it also has the MACD buy and sell signals, and it also have the MACD histogram. Which you see on here, you can see how you can color your different lines and fill them in. It's definitely something that's really nice. You've got your up-down volume automatically applied. So really cool. And then, so that's what we did with Quote Center. With Option Scope, this part's actually really cool. I'm going to close the Quote Center window and come to Option Scope. So inside of Option Scope, we have a lot of different option strategies showing like different sentiments and straddles and spreads and things like that. So if you look down here, you can see bear put spreads or bear call spreads, covered calls, long call, short straddle. So let's just choose the bear spread, and then I have to go in and choose a short put and then a long put. So we could do, let me get this out of the way so I can see. Okay. So we'll do there, and then we'll do a long put. Okay. So, and then the first thing you'll notice down here, and it gets a little bit hard to just read those on here. So I'm going to change the theme back to light. Okay, so now this should be a little bit more visible, but right here has your bear put spread. So here's your, like your short put, your break even point, and I can make these changes. Oops, I can make changes to the chart, yeah, to the color of the chart. So you can look over here. I don't know what I did. Oops. Oh. Let me see if I can get it back over. Here, let me just do it again. We'll do bear put. Do make call. Okay. So now we can see, let me bring this back over here. I can change the different settings of the underlying price. Now if you, and then I can also change the fill line, the buy call, the sell call, the totals. If I want to make any changes, then I just refresh the chart. But you notice right here, once I'm hovering my mouse over here, it shows like my price, the loss. I have my buy call, my sell call, underlying price. Let me underlying price, and then it'll show you. It'll show like the break even point as well. So there's a lot of different things you can do inside here. And it's, if you have questions on this, the best way to get your answers is the help menu is actually really good, or you can just call our support team too. So in this one, a cover call, everyone that is an options trader knows that a cover call is you're buying the stock price and then also you're doing a call. So in this case, I'm buying the SPY, and then let's just choose my, let's say I want to do a March. Actually, let's, because we're in the money right here, we'll do, that's quite a bit of opener. Then we'll do that one. And then, well, so I want to do that. And then instrument will do buy call, and we'll do sell right here. Okay. So then again, you can see like your max profit, your max loss, your risk reward ratio, covered call, the break-even point, underlying security, everything like that. So this is something that's quite nice that you can play around with a lot more, and you can also change the column values of the Greeks. So if you want to take it the dividend yield percentage by the interest rate and then update those as well, you can do that now inside of the option scope. You can uncheck or check what you want to see. Maybe you don't care about the row, or you don't care about the last price or percent change, or you don't care about Vega. You can take all that off, or you just, and if you've done that, then you can just come back here and restore columns. So that part is really nice as well. And then also at the top here, inside of option scope now, it shows like the call and the put ratios, top calls and then top puts, volume, and everything like that. So that part's actually really nice inside of the option scope. Our options traders, especially when you're doing real time, are really liking this inside the new version of MetaStock 18, especially the option strategies. Let me just kind of go through the list. I know it's a little harder to see, but you can see you've got your covered call. You have, where'd my mouse go? There it is. You have your covered call. You've got your long call, long put, long straddle, and tons of people do straddles for options. Married put, short straddle. So you get the idea. There's lots of different strategies that are built in there. So you don't want to scroll down the list. You can just do a search if you want to, like do the bull, and then it only shows you the bull call spread. So really neat feature inside of the option scope. Okay. And I want to go back to my PowerPoint, make sure I'm on board with everything. Talked about the quote center, option scope, put call search, customizing the colors and risk graphs or themes with the quote center. Talked about all that. Here's the list of all of the option strategies. Oh, and then the other thing too is you get the put call ratios for option sentiment. You can view open interest. You can view it on open interest or volume. However you want to do that is up to you. But there's the list of all of the strategies that are now available with option scope. And then this last part is actually really cool. So in the past, we actually had a add-on that was programmed by a person named Robert Debman. He took thousands of systems and did testing for, gosh, I think it was months and months and months. And he went back, I think it was like 10,000 periods, which would have been, I think it was like 10 years. Yeah, something like that. And so he tested all these different systems from like trending systems to moving averages and different things like that. And I'll kind of give you the list here in a minute, but he basically did back testing for quite a long time. And each of these systems had to be at least a 50% probability of being successful, or you wouldn't put it in there. So we added this in here. Normally you would pay $300 for the add-on, but now that it's part of MetaStock, your upgrade price is a lot less than just buying the add-on alone. We also updated the Higuro system, which was a candlestick system. And then also the Darrow Guppy ATR indicators are now in there. So let me close this. And I'm going to come back to MetaStock. I'm actually going to close all of my charts. No, I don't want to save them, but the performance systems were listed under, on the option scope. So they came with indicators and also system tests and explorations. So inside MetaStock, if you're on 17 or 16 or whatever, there were, I think, about 20 or 30 different systems that started with with the letters PS for performance systems. But then what this other guy did, he added to that. So he added another 54 different systems. You can see in here, you got the adaptive moving average, the 3-day range switch, the congestion breakout, the cycle progression, derivative moving average, Land's reversal, Elliott oscillator. So he did tons and tons of testing with all of these, and then found which ones were the top performing ones, and then put that in the add-on and sold it for sold it for $300. But now that we've included it in there, this also, it's something that a lot of people have been wanting. But this was our best-selling add-on of all time. It's definitely been around a while, but it is one that a lot of people still like to this day, even though it was created a while ago. And it's actually something that's really nice. I have customers that have been using it since they purchased it, but now that it's built into MetaStock, it's something that we're really excited about. And how I was mentioning, I'll give you a list of all of the ones that are in here. I just kind of went through them in MetaStock just a minute ago, but you've got everything from linear regression to patterns. It actually has a version of the Turtle Trader method breakout 1 and 2. It's got the ultimate oscillator system in there as well. So just a lot of really cool tools and system tests and explorations as well. But yeah, so here's the part that I was talking about. So we tested over 10,000 combinations of systems and stocks, daily stock data, no trade delay, and there's no stops included. Low price, low volume stocks are not included, meaning like penny stocks. Deemed desirable if the trade efficiency was positive for more than 50% of the stock analyzed. The one thing that I wanted to add to it as well is the code is open. So if you want to go in to the program, let's say we apply, go down to the P's. One that I actually really like is the adaptive moving average. So if we attach this to the chart, you'll notice it's just, buy and sell signals, but it also has its own commentary window. That pot is really nice. So give me just a second. Okay. So it's got its own commentary window as well, which is really cool. There we go. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. All right. So let's say you want to go in and look at the actual code itself. So if you right click on the chart, expert advisor properties, I can go in and see the code for this particular system. So the conditions for it being long or short. If you want to add to it, I really wouldn't, but a lot of people like to know if the code is open or not. In this particular case, it's open, like it always has been. So if you want to add to it, then you definitely can. What that means as well with a system test, if you want to add your own strategies on top of what you're testing on, you could do that too. But so that part is something that's really cool. But yeah, so it comes with its own exploration experts and system tests. So you could run a scan now and then scroll through to the P's. And then you can do whichever ones you want to do. I'm just gonna do, let's just do the PS moving average. Oh, I need to uncheck all the other ones. Okay. Now we'll just run, I don't want to do that one. I want to run the S&P 500. Sorry, hang on just a second. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so S&P 500, and then we'll start exploration. So these are just different ways of running. This one's just looking for adaptive moving averages, and it'll give you buy and sell signals based on the conditions. But again, like I said, the code is open, which is quite nice, so you can add to it if you want to. That's something that I really like with it as well. So each of these, what's really nice and what I've always done in the past is I've taken all of the systems and done a back test, and I believe somebody has already done it that's done one of our previous webinars. So here's our results. It shows which ones are longs, which ones are short. For those of you that have been using MetaStock for a while, you know when it has a 1 in the column, that means that that's an entry, or sorry, that just means that it met the condition, and same thing with the shorts. So we had 1 short, and then we had 130 longs, 129 longs, and then has a rejects tab as well. You can see why I rejected it. So had a pretty strong filter, but it'll help you narrow your list down. It's one that I really like. This is what it looks like on a chart. Let me change the theme to white so you can see what it looks like. So it just puts buy and sell signals on the chart based on the adaptive moving average. And then it goes through and gives like a definition, how it was created. The first person that created this one looks like it was actually designed by a person by the name of Perry Kaufman. It wants to basically change the speed of the moving average based on the noise level of the market. So it gives you a definition of the particular system too, which I really like. And that's inside the commentary window. But additionally, on top of that, a lot of people like to do their own back testing with these as well. So you can come over here and let's say I want to, oh, I know what I did. Let's say I want to run a test on all of the different performance systems, and I believe it's already been done. Yeah. So if I open the report, then I can see, I'm not going to do all of them at once because it would take a while, but you can come over here and kind of organize it and show which ones were the top performing ones versus the ones that didn't test very well. But if I run just a couple symbols, it'll actually show me that. So let's actually do that. Hang on just a second. It's actually the part that I really like with this add-on. Scroll down all the way to the bottom and choose volume trading. And then let's just do, let's do Google. Or I guess Alphabet. And then we'll run system. I'm not making any changes. I'm just doing both longs. I'm using the last 500 records, which is about 2 years, excuse me. Then we'll go in and start the system test. And it's just going to run through all of those symbols with all, or sorry, that symbol with all of these system performance systems plus, and you can see how well it performs. It's actually, like I said, it's one that is really good. If you want to open up, looks like the top system that worked the best. We had a 38% gain, 72 trades, 45 wins, 27 losses. And then if you want to go deeper into it, you can open up the reports window and look at that way. So part that I kind of wanted to look at here is our equity line. It shows you like from point A to point B. And then like your basically anything that's on the positive side is the best case scenario. But then, like I said, if you want to go in and see the code, it's right here inside the system tester, but also you can just go into the expert advisor as well. So this part's really nice. And then one last thing that I want to talk about. Okay, so we actually have a partner over in Australia. His name is Derricott. A lot of people know him over there. He has a really big following. But he's well known in the States as well, basically all over the world. So he wanted to incorporate some ATR stop indicators. So let's go in and show that. Yeah, this will be better. This will be fine. Okay, so how they're listed inside of MetaStock is GT Traders ATR short and GT Traders ATR long. So we're going to come over here and we'll find a long. Let's just grab this one. So 12/21/2021. Okay. So the way this works, and I hope I'm doing this right, or I might have to have Bobby pop in. So we're going to do a stop in right here. So plotting it right there. So I'm going to do the day of the month, which was 21, and then 21. And then this is just the multiplier. If you want to break it based on the low or the close, you can choose the 1 or 2 right here. And then you can change the color if you want to. I really wouldn't mess a lot with this, but let me just make sure I did it right. I think I overlay without scale. Yeah. Okay, so this takes just this last area. So the starting of the calculation is right here. And the way this works is once it penetrates, then it stops calculating. So in this case, once this, I'll make sure I explain this correctly. So since this was did I do the short? No, I did the long, since this is a long trade. So it's got to penetrate the high of the current bar in this case. So once it penetrates that, you see how it actually penetrated it right here. Then it stops calculating. This doesn't necessarily become true anymore. So that's where your stop would be set at. If that was a long position. On the other side of the coin for a short position, let's get a better view of that. Oh, I have an idea. Let's just do EIA. Okay, so as you can see now that it's on a different symbol, it's not calculating any longer. So you have that line that just stops calculating. So now let's go on the short side. That was long, and you have to put in the exact date or else it doesn't calculate properly. So actually I need to do that. So let's grab this one right here. So this is February 10th, 2022. So 10th February 22. Click OK. Just going to display it without scale. Yep, perfect. So this is the same thing. Once it penetrates the low, then it stops calculating. So I would have gotten in right here and out right there. Actually, that's a pretty good stop indicator. So just a really nice way. And even pairing this with this particular signal, which was my sell entry, and then the ATR was perfect, basically. So those are, I think we've covered everything. Derricott the ATR, you can do long, shorts, sideways, or up. And then also the ATR does provide a confirmation of the trend break. Like I said, when it penetrates it, it stops calculating. And then, yeah, just quickly going through everything we talked about today, just the new chart, all the charting capabilities, which is the biggest reason why tons of people are upgrading. We're all really excited about that. The indicator updates, the drawing tools, new power console for search, the new risk graphs for options, top options, the quote center changes, ease of use, new features, searching for system tests or explorations, just everything really, really nice. So upgrade price, actually, let me run through that. I don't know why I didn't put that slide in here, but the upgrade price for our end of day users from 17 to 18 is $179. For real time, it's $279 from 17 to 18. But I'm going to email out the group all the pricing structure and everything like that. If you want to get in touch with me, I'd love to talk to you about 18. It's a great update to MetaStock, and I've been here since version 9. This is by far the biggest upgrade that I've seen, and I've been here, like I said, for almost 20 years. But there's my contact information. You can get in touch with me that way. More than happy to answer any questions. I don't see any questions in GoTo. Bobby, is there any on YouTube? Yeah, I would say MQ Trender, Victory. The other one that I really quite like, it's an older one, but it does very well pairing it together, is ETS Trading System. Those are probably my top 3. But now that the performance system's in there, that's also one that I've always recommended as kind of my top ones, but I don't have to anymore because now it's in MetaStock 18. So if you upgrade, then you get that. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, definitely appreciate everyone's time. If you weren't able to join the live session and have questions once we send out the recording to everybody, definitely get in touch with me. Again, here's my contact. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Just if you come to chat, make sure you ask for Dave, or you can just email me directly or call me. I'd love to chat with you about the new version of MetaStock and MetaStock in general and with your trading. Thanks so much, everybody, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.